प्रेम से बोलो श्री पवन पुत्र हनुमान की। Please chant from Tulsidas Ramayana. Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama.
Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama.
कवन सुकाजु कठिन जग माही, जो नहीं तात कोई तुम पाही। बोलो
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम आज लगी तब अवतारा, सुनत ही भयऊ पर्वत तारा। बोलो
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
One more time.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
ओम श्री
राम जय राम जय जय राम।
प्रेम से बोलो श्री पवन पुत्र हनुमान की। Can everyone see on the screen in front of us? There's a word that's on the screen. What is that word? Impossible. I've often had the conversation with godchildren, with friends, with co-workers, and they've said to me, Panditji, this something that I would like to achieve in my life, it seems that is impossible to do. That word impossible sometimes become part of our vocabulary in describing who we are, what we want, or what our dreams, or where our dreams are with respect to where we are today. As we speak, there are members of our congregation who are pursuing higher levels of academic education. There are members of this congregation who are learning new trades. There are members of this congregation who are contemplating business, new business, or expanding an existing business. There are people who are looking at this broadcast who are at the doorsteps of a new venture or in the middle of something that they have started. And because of the difficulties, because of the hurdles, because of the pressures, sometimes we feel that those things that we really want are impossible. Today's katha is about showing us how do we get from impossible to what's the next word? No? I'm possible. From impossible to saying that anything that I want, from impossible, knowing that it is, I am possible. I am possible. You see, it's the very same words that have come together that have changed their meanings totally. From moving from impossible to I am possible. And this concept of I am possible really suggests the life of Hanuman. Kavan so kaaju katin jagamahi, jo nahi tat ho hi nahi pahi. Ram kaaj lagi tav avatara, sunat hi bhayu parvat akara. You see, no matter where you are in your life, I think it was Carl Jung, the Chinese philosopher, that says, who I am is not based on what has happened to me, but who I am is based on how I respond to what happens to me. Who I become is based on how I respond to what comes my way. Devotees, Hanumanji was at a point in his life, and I'm sure you've heard this many times before, where his true potential was not revealed to him. He was a great politician. He was a wise man. He understood some of the siddhis. He mastered some of the siddhis as a servant of his king, who was Sugriv. But there was a time in the Ramcharitamanas When Sri Ramchandra Bhagavan wanted someone to go across to Lanka, and he's asking, who will go to Lanka? Who? Angad said, what did Angad say? Angad said it was impossible. Sugriv said it was impossible. Nal Neel to go across the ocean said it was impossible. A lot of the other monkeys and bears thought it was impossible. But then Jambavan turned to Hanuman and he said, Hanuman, my son, my soldier, I want you to move from thinking, do you know who you are? Do you know that you are the son of the wind god? Pavana Tanaya Bala Pavana Savari. It says, don't you know that you are the son of the wind god? Don't you know that many are called Hanumanji, but few are chosen? And therefore Hanumanji, Ram Kaj Lagi Tav Avatara, just those 4 words, 1/4 of the entire Chopai gives the meaning from impossible to I am possible. Hanumanji, it was for the purpose of serving Sri Ram that you were sent into this world. Shiv Shankar Bhagavan himself manifested, because there is no difference between Shiva and Vishnu and Brahmaji. And therefore, in order for self, the higher self, to serve self, Shiv Shankar Bhagavan came as Hanumanji, as you, to serve Vishnu Bhagavan as Prabhu Sri Ramchandra. Hanumanji, don't think that this task of going to Lanka from the southern tip of India, it is impossible, but think that Hanumanji, I am possible. I am possible. And therefore, my friends, it was that those words from Jambavan's lips, having been spoken into the ears of Hanumanji, that awakened the potential and the power, the real power of Hanumanji. To cross to Lanka, Hanumanji had to destroy and overcome at least 2 hurdles. Well, 3. One, how do I go from one earth landmark to another that is hundreds of miles away? He had to contemplate that. How does he do that? He had to destroy Lankini. He had to destroy Surasa before he actually touched feet on the lands of Lanka. And therefore, my friends, Hanumanji on en route to Lanka, when he met Surasa, that demon that tested his strength, Hanumanji's life at that junction in Ramcharitramanas is no different from where you are today. Is there anything in your life that you would like to achieve that you think is impossible? Think about it. And if the answer is possible, maybe I am entertaining, I may not have used the words impossible, but I am thinking that is difficult. Maybe I'm thinking, that is not for me, that is for other people. Maybe I am not deserving of that milestone, that achievement. Maybe you're thinking like that. And Hanumanji's life is testimony. He is showing you from a lower life form, as a monkey, he is showing you that with the love, with the power of invoking the blessings of Sri Ramchandra Bhagavan, he has moved from a life of servant to where anything is possible. You see, today's katha is about a very important word. And that word, it is dharma. What is that word? Everyone, what is the word? Dharma. Not dharma. Dharma is a fellow who lives in Dongri Road. Dharma. Dharma. What is the meaning of dharma? Anyone can tell me what is the meaning of dharma? Dharma means, go on, don't be afraid to say it. There are one of 3 answers, the right one, the wrong one, or what is the third one? No answer. Dharma means purpose in life. And today I ask you to answer to your own self. What is your purpose here? Not in temple, but what is your purpose that God has sent you into this world? There are many people who have completed tertiary level education, finished bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD. I went to India with Dr. Lakiram, the late Dr. Lakiram. Mati will remember him. And Dr. Lakiram, very established doctor in Trinidad. He said, Pandit, my daughter gave me this camera, and he was walking around, he's taking pictures. Dr. Lakiram had an illness, Parkinson's disease. And when the Parkinson's disease kicked in plenty, he couldn't walk. So he used to slow down, sometimes stop. Not because he wanted to, but because his body shut down. And he would just stay there taking pictures when his hands are shaking. So one day I said, Doc, what's going on? What's with the camera? He said, Pandit, this is a PhD camera. I said, Doc, a PhD camera? He says, yes, my daughter gave this to me. I said, is it because you're a doctor? He says, no, this is a PhD camera. It means it is so simple to use. All you have to know is press here, dummy. PhD. Anyway, there are some people who, having established the highest level of tertiary level education, and they still don't know what they would like to do with their life. When I was a young man growing up, still very young, I'll let you know that. When I was a younger man growing up, I didn't know what I wanted to do. My parents sent me to school, and what I started going to school for, I did well, but it didn't feel as though that is what my purpose was on this earth. And having gone to school doing something else, I changed from one degree to another, and when I went to work, that still didn't feel like that is what I wanted to do with my life. It was over time and with experimenting and asking myself, really, what do I want to do with my life? What is it that God sent me into this world to do? Having asked myself that question and made sometimes the wrong choices. And you'd say, Baba, wrong? Well, really, there are no wrong choices. Every choice that you make, you should ask, how does that choice feel in my life? And if the answer to that is, it feels good, then you are on track. But if the answer is, it's tiring, if the answer is, it is frustrating, if the answer is, I don't feel like I am making a difference to this world, then my friends, make another choice. Nothing is wrong with making a choice that takes you down a path that maybe that's not eventually what you should be doing, but do it anyways. But keep asking yourself, why am I here? When you are lying in your coffins, Suzanne, you're celebrating birthday and Baba talking about coffin. But I guarantee you, Maji is celebrating from Lapai, she's celebrating her 75th birthday this week, isn't it? 75. But death is no closer to her than it is to me. You see, death is waiting. She's a beautiful bride that is walking with us in every step of our life. Just this week on the Rivulet Road, 3 young men, a young man who's with business potential, his worker and an older employee, passenger in the vehicle, in the twinkling of an eye, their lives were snuffed away in an accident. So you see, my friends, death does not differentiate or discriminate. So one day, every one of us will be lying in our coffins. But ask yourself this question. If God gives you the blessing of sober thought during the last 30 seconds of your life, not 1 minute, 30 seconds of your life, and you're thinking that these are my last 30 seconds, I am about to die, would you be pleased with who you are and what you've achieved and contributed to this world? Don't wait for death. Think about it now. Because it will come. But we may not be so fortunate to have sober thoughts in that last moments of our life. And therefore the time to ask that question, it is now. And if the answer to that question, it is I am not sure or it is no, my friends, ask or try exploring what you should be doing differently with your life. And the question that I get many times from my godchildren is, then Guruji, what to do? What should I do? One of my schoolmates who went to school with me, we graduated in 1988. That will give you an idea of how young I am. Rajesh was this man, this boy in school. Never studied school. He was always about muscular and What he used to do in class, he used to take us and show us how to, he used to hold us and do curls and bench press with some of the other boys in class. Me also. He used to hold me by the back of my pants and curl. He was the bully, he was the class bully. And after we graduated, years went by and many of us didn't keep in touch. Some became like Atma, senior in the accounting field, some became doctors, some became tradesmen, some became whatever they became. But Rajesh was one guy I never really thought much about, because I thought, Rajesh, oh my gosh, I hope he's not bullying anybody still. And one day I met Rajesh on Facebook. And I picked up the phone and I called him. I said, Raj, what you doing, boy? He said, Krish, when I left school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I migrated to the United States because I had family there and I still didn't know what I wanted to do. Do you know that my family encouraged me to go into nursing? And I'm thinking, oh gosh, he will do bench press with all the patients. Yeah? And then Rajesh said, boy, Krish, nursing wasn't for me. I decided I wanted to sell chickens. I wanted to be a farmer. And he said, do you know that recently I got into business. And now I have contracts. Many of you who have cable will know the brand name Purdue. For those who are looking at this broadcast in America, will know about the brand name called Purdue Chicken. And Purdue, he says, now I have multi-million-dollar contracts to supply chickens to the company called Purdue. He says, I am now expanding my farm. My first estate is just about 100 acres in Texas, and I'm now expanding to possibly another 100 acres because the business is doing so well. I said, Raj, how do you feel? He said, on purpose. He says, I have time for my family, I have time to spend with my dogs, I have time to go out and walk in the fields, and I feel that I am making a difference. You see? Many of us who would have gone through life and made hard decisions, or decisions made for us. Made for us. Did you choose to be a teacher? Did you choose to be an accountant? Did you choose to be a taxi driver? Did you choose to be a fisherman? Did you choose to be a doctor? Did you choose to be a musician? If you did, great. But many people end up in professions where people, parents, elders, other teachers would have imposed out of love a particular career path for us. But many people are frustrated in their life now because they are not on purpose. I have a very good friend at work, almost to be promoted to a superintendent level. And I wouldn't like to tell you what money that is. Plenty money. Working at that level in engineering field. And you know what she's saying to me? Krish, I want to leave this job. I want to go and teach. To take maybe a 75% pay cut to leave that job to go and teach. And I said, why? He said, because I am not spending quality time with my children, and I am not enjoying the best health. I don't have time for myself, and when I come to work, I am frustrated. Can you imagine people making those big life decisions, making $50,000, $60,000 a month, and going to a job where they a significant fraction of that salary. Why? Because they feel that they can make a difference in the life of other people by teaching. Is something wrong with that? No. And therefore, when people think like that, you see, impossible is not about making the decisions to achieve bigger things. Sometimes people think it is impossible to walk away from the bigger things that frustrate us and go into the simpler things that keep you on purpose and know that your life is on purpose. Your life is possible. What is dharma? Dharma means doing what is required in your life to make sure that, one, I am divine. I am not better or lesser than you. I am divine. That is the first part of dharma. The second part of dharma means God has sent me into this world with a gift, with a purpose, with something special. God sent you with that. That is the second part of dharma. And the third and most important part of dharma, it is having recognized that God has sent me into this world, Nigel and Kabir, with that gift. The third part of dharma means, when you find out what that gift is, use it to serve community. Use it to serve community. And the secret in that, here's what it is. Many people tell their children, go to school so you can get a good education and you can make plenty money. Boucolage. French for here, they tell you boucolage, plenty money. And that becomes the misdirected target. Not as children, but even adults. All of us would like to make plenty money. Nothing wrong with that. But when the objective becomes making plenty money, we become frustrated sometimes because we're not enjoying what we're doing, but we still want to make plenty money. But when you're on purpose, it means that when you find out what your gift is, like Rajesh, he didn't want to be a nurse. Thank God he didn't turn out to be a bully. But he decided, he realized that his path was somewhere else. And in serving, now he is a big member of his church, a Christian, serves his church tremendously. But when you find out what your gift is and you serve community, you know what you're doing? You are filling a void. God sent you with a gift, not to keep, but that gift was meant to fill a void in society. And when you can use that gift to fill that void, you would see that all the resources, all the money, all the good relationships, all the peace, all the love, all the camaraderie would come and offer itself at your feet. That, my friends, that is dharma. It is not about making money, it is not about or just being on purpose. But being on purpose means finding your gift and looking for an opportunity to fill that void in community. When you can fill that void in community by serving, you would be creating a demand that other people would want from you. Isn't that so? When there is a void, nature, what is the expression? Nature quickly fills a vacuum, a void. And therefore, when there is a need in society, whatever that need is, it becomes a vacuum. And when you position yourself with your gift and ready to give to others of that gift, you would realize that you would become so much in demand that you will be very prosperous in your endeavors. Devotees, today whatever that makes you happy, makes you contented, makes you purposeful, I want you to contemplate that. If you're a student making choices in school, that's okay. You may make some right choices, you may make some different choices, not wrong choices, but make them anyway. And in making those choices, ask yourself, is this really what I want to do in the last days of my life? And today, my friends, if the answer is yes, plunge ahead with abandon. But if the answer is not sure or no, think again, make another choice, and keep asking, am I on purpose? Am I on purpose? Prem se bolo Shri Pawan Putra Hanuman ki. Let us join Balram and Susan ji as we perform.